Team 20850W, Accelerated Dragon from Rockville, Maryland. And we're going to be talking today about how we can use one solenoid to power two pneumatic cylinders in VEX. So we're going to start with a standard configuration. We're going to have a air tank, a pressure gauge, two solenoids that we block off the end because we're not going to need that. We're going to have two cylinders that we're going to power, and we're going to connect them all with tubing to the solenoids and connect that to the brain.
Now when we run the program, the default value of digital out is false. And if we set digital out A to true, the first piston will be pushed out. And if you set digital out B to true, it pushes the second cylinder out. And if you set digital out A back to false, the cylinder gets pulled back. The same thing happens with the other cylinder.
So now let's take a closer look at what's happening inside each cylinder to understand what we can do to the solenoid.
If you see this picture, you can notice that the red and black wires and the white and green wires always act in opposite states. And then by default, digital out A is false, meaning the red and black wires are low, and then the green and white wires are high. And if you set digital out A true, the airflow is to the right of the solenoid, which pushes the first cylinder out. And then if you set it to false, you can pull it back again.
So these push and pull actions both require air, and that's not very good for VEX team because we only have like 100 psi of air usually. So what most teams do is we take away one of the tubings, so we only use one stream of air, plug these off, and then use rubber bands to pull these back when they're set to low.
Now, if you see the airflow, air goes to the left side, but that side is blocked. And if you set digital out A true, the air flows to the right side and pushes the first cylinder out like before. And if you set digital out B to true, it pushes the second one out. And then if you set digital out A back to false, the rubber band will pull the cylinder back. The same thing happens with the other cylinder.
So we're not really using this left side of the solenoid because it's being plugged off right now. So you can just disconnect the green and white wires from both sides, and then now we're not even powering this side at all. So what we can do right now is that we can just get rid of this solenoid, and then reconnect this to over here and plug this off. So now we have one solenoid and two cylinders. We will replug this wire back into this solenoid, and now we have the brain controlling both of these cylinders separately through one solenoid.
Yeah, now since both digital out A and digital out B are false, both sides of the solenoid will remain blocked. And if you set digital out A to true, air flows to the right side and pushes the first cylinder out. And if you set digital out B to true, air flows to the left side and pushes the second cylinder out. And if you set digital out A to false, again, the first cylinder will be pulled back because of the rubber band. And the same thing happens with second cylinder.
So now we have the brain using one solenoid controlling both pneumatic cylinders at the same separately, and that's really helpful because we save a solenoid.
Yeah, and we don't need to change any of our code either.
Thanks for watching.